Back Road Ministry, the World Premier, Mr. Marky coming at you live and direct. I'm gonna do a quick piece on the Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair squash episode. You see them two facing off at WWE SummerSlam. I'm a big wrestling fan. For those that don't know, watch a lot of wrestling entertainment. Not a big fan of WWE, and there's several reasons why. And this is one of the reasons why. WWE has a problem with people of color holding titles, and this is a Vince McMahon problem. Now, Vince will try to tell you that this has never been an issue, him being a prejudiced person, but it's always been an issue with how he's ran his company, always prejudging the fans on the idea of what they want to see. You remember this even in the time of Stone Cold and The Rock. It was this hesitance to give The Rock the WWE title. So this is a continued thing with Vince McMahon. And even back in the day, you know, in the 80s, when a lot of companies were putting titles on people like Junkyard Dog and other wrestlers, Tony Atlas, guys like this were being, Butch Reed, guys were, you know, champions in certain territories. Vince struggled with this. And he struggled with this pretty much the whole time since the forming of WWE. So here we are with this so-called women's revolution. And my problem with, you know, telling women that they can be on top is allowing them to be on top, not stating who's going to be on top and what nationality and race of people have to be on top. So I have the young girl, Bianca Belair, who's pretty much worked her way and continues to work her way to be in the face of the female division, women's wrestling division, WWE. She's got the title. You got her and Sasha Banks, two women of color who put on one hell of a show at the WrestleMania event and some other events to crown Bianca the title. So Bianca just got the belt. You got to really, you know, give her some storyline to kind of really create her as a champion. She's got to learn, but you got to give her the opportunity to learn. And that's what Vince's creative team don't do. They jump straight to Becky Lynch. Now, for those that don't know, Becky Lynch has been out of wrestling for a year and some change, and due to pregnancy, she decided that, you know, she wanted to have a child. She wanted to, you know, do that early in her career. You'll see a lot of women wrestlers kind of do this, kind of stop somewhere inside of the career, have children. Ronda Rousey's doing that right now. She'll be back in a minute. But, you know, that's very important to a lot of wrestlers is, you know, family. You know, and having that sense of family and starting a family and taking that time off. So kudos to her for taking that time off to, you know, really, you know, do that piece that was important to her. But she comes back after a year. We got an issue with Sasha Banks that nobody really, you know, we don't know, you know, what's going on with Sasha Banks right now. We don't know what's going on with Sasha Banks in this situation. But Sasha didn't show up at SummerSlam. And that was very alarming to me of why Sasha didn't show up for SummerSlam. So the match really at SummerSlam was supposed to be a rematch of Becky Lynch versus, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. But Sasha doesn't show up. A lot of rumors out there, one being maybe she has the COVID, put on COVID protocol. We don't know. But what we do know is Becky Lynch returned and was slated to return. She comes back in SummerSlam. Bianca Belair is placed in a messed up position, and you never want to put your champion in a position where she's just out there. Because you got this young girl who just got the title thinking minutes before the fight that she's fighting Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks is not there. And you put Camilla out there, and for those that know, Camilla's been with the company for years, to do the bidding and get beat up or what it's supposed to be. And that doesn't happen because you squash Camilla and you bring Becky Lynch out. And then the creative geniuses in WWE decide, well, maybe we don't want Bianca to have the title. And you have Becky beat Bianca in like 2 moves. This does a couple of things. And this is the stupidity of WWE, and this is why AEW, with the guys that they're bringing into AEW, are going to just destroy the creative team at WWE, because these guys have no vision. First of all, why would you squash Bianca Belair in 2 moves? Because now that makes Sasha Banks look weak. Now you made two people look weak. You made your champion look like she was garbage and never deserved to be the champion. And then you made the person that she had this feud with over this long period of time going into SummerSlam look like she can't wrestle and she's garbage too. And Becky Lynch is the man, so she's the most dominating character in the women's division, and she has no competition. But she's been gone for a year. She's been gone for a year. She's been out for a year. She hasn't wrestled in that time. Not on that stage, not at that speed. So you just give her two moves and, oh, here's the belt? Who writes like that? Only an idiot wastes time and talent like that, and that just no vision of how to put things together. And you saw this with the Kofi Kingston situation. Kofi Kingston that did all that work. The fans were behind him. And you just squash Kofi Kingston and pretty much destroy his career. And basically, like you're saying, well, we gave you the championship, nigga. Be happy and, now go on back and sit in the backdrop. Because you don't want to take the time to build this man up and really, really ride out and really, really kind of benefit off of what, momentum he's already had. And this is like this constant theme of the WWE. This is constant with them. Constant with them. The prejudice when it comes to the company. The lack of initiative to bring championships of color up or champions of color up. And a lot of other promotions have this struggle. You're going to see, and AEW has the problem myself because they really don't have a lot of champions of color right now. They're going to have to work on that piece. But you want to be able to build your champion, especially your young talent. And AEW does that better right now than WWE because they don't try to build their young talent. So basically, you just waste this young prospect for what? When now you have an opportunity of creating a storyline between Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. And even if you want to turn a person evil, the best way in the world to have women see things is one thing women always talk about. Women are very jealous. They're jealous of each other. Use that as your storyline. So only thing they had to do, you could have brought Becky Lynch out. Becky's there, Bianca's there. They decide to have a match. You let them have a classic match. You don't squash them. You let them do what they do. Let them put on everything. But you don't let Becky win. You let Becky lose. You let Becky lose to Bianca Belair, which is supposed to take place because Bianca's the champion. But you don't let Becky react negatively. Let her be humbled. Oh, I've been out for a year. And she can say that. Well, I've been out for a year. The pregnancy, getting back, at, full, strength. Being able to go at that speed right now is not for me. I fought a great champion. Hey, she beat me, and I'm happy that she's got the title. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. And over the next couple of weeks, you let them have another match, and Becky loses again. Becky has to lose again for this to work. Let's grab some. So Becky loses again in the second match. Now you begin to plant the seed. And we want to slowly plant this seed of anger. Because now, as you build off of Becky's jealousy, and frustration, then you slowly can move her into the role of a heel. Now she's mad. She's lost 2 times to this young champion. The frustration, why can't I beat this young champion? And finally, at one show, you just make the decision where they might be at an interview or something, or she just might be so pissed and she just turns on Bianca. That's all you have to do. Perfect storyline. Get the heel that you're looking for. The crowd turns on Becky because she's been with this girl the whole time, but really she's jealous. She's frustrated. Perfect way to kind of turn a person heel. That's what creative is all about. It doesn't take me much to think about how to put this together. But these buffoons at WWE have no creative talent whatsoever. They don't take the time to build the product. And you can't do it with every wrestler. You got to take time, break it up, break up the pay-per-views. One time the pay-per-view might just focus on the Intercontinental Champion. One time the pay-per-view might focus on the World Championship. One time the pay-per-view might just be main eventing the tag teams. You got to break it up. The women have to be able to shine. Everybody has to have a pay-per-view where their storyline gets to shine. And they're not doing it. They're not taking the time to do that. There don't have to be a championship match every pay-per-view. Sometimes it just could be two people and build up the storyline where they are able to main event based on their storyline. But you got to take the prejudice out of the wrestling universe. You got to take the prejudice towards young wrestlers out of the wrestling universe. And Vince McMahon just struggles with that. And that's pretty much going to mark the end of his company. And right now, there's going to be a hostile takeover. Triple H and Stephanie are going to take that company over. And Vince is going to lose the war inside of his own household because he refuses to change. And that, over time, you got to change. When he came, people changed to what he was looking at. Now it's time for him to change. And he thinks he's going to be the godfather of wrestling forever, and he's not. He's not meant for that. You see these young cats, the Rhodes family, Cody and them. You see a lot more creative people like Chris Jericho. Yeah, and you got one of the biggest creative minds now, a free agent, in Bray Wyatt, who's going to write a lot of storylines that WWE is not going to even be able to touch. So you got to be able to evolve. They got the evolution piece, yet they're not evolving. That has to change for WWE to survive. And Stephanie and Triple H going to have to make a decision, and that decision is going to lead to them turning on Vince. And at the end of the day, if you want the company to survive, you got to let go of the power. Mr. Maki, back row, Ministry, peace and heritage.